era. You really want to start to think about big picture 101 type content. So rules for success in your niche, personal strategy stuff, anything that you can put your own unique spin on your posts will really start to provide people that great connection with you. Think big. You want to think about the pieces of content that will really help people the most, and then start to kind of trickle down and add your own unique spin and niche to it. Really make sure that you're also thinking about how you're presenting these blog posts to your followers. One thing that we all know is that Facebook keeps their algorithm pretty close to home. They don't let out a lot about what they go ahead and prioritize. So one trick is that you want to make sure that all of the really great content you're putting out there is what they call above the fold. And this really does also go back to kind of what you used to do in print with newspapers. You know, anything that's most important that you want to get out for your followers is going to be that above the fold content. And Facebook really looks at this too, mostly because you know how people's consumption habits are so different on social media as well as on when they're reading your blog, that they're typically only scrolling through for a few minutes and then abandoning it. So make sure when you're creating this evergreen content that if you have something to say, you're not waiting till the bottom, but you're really going to make sure you're getting it out there. So you really want to also focus on being nice and selfless in these posts. Content strategy really needs to be what we call reader-centric. So what are their wants and needs? What are your followers really wanting to know about you? What are their pain points and problems? These types of thoughts can really help you produce great content in order to get it out to your followers in a way that they need to read through and connect with it on a really useful level. Original in these posts. You have to put your own spin on things. The internet is so saturated with a lot of content these days. You know, everyone's trying and vying for people's attention, that if you're not original and if you're not authentic, your posts probably aren't going to stick out in that noise. So think again about what you can do to provide a concept, a new lens for people to see it through. Really actionable. You know, people don't want to get to the end of the post and still be thinking, I'm not really sure what else to do. They want to really have an action. So real life information that addresses their needs and communicate it clearly can be something that's super helpful. Be informal, you know, research your audience, really make sure you know the type of content that they're going to be looking for. Things you can do is Google types of questions that might come up in your field, and make sure when you're writing these posts that you're really starting to answer those questions within those posts. And always remember to be experimental, you know, write a piece and see how it gets reacted to. Don't be afraid to make a status update asking people something. And really being able to create that conversation also will help your post show up in the majority of your followers, news feeds as well. So how do you get your, after you write all of this great evergreen content, how do you get your followers to actually read the posts? This is a really great question. And one of the things that I like to bring it back to is a concept that Seth Godin has called purple cow content. And what this means is just when you're driving past a field of cows, you're probably not going to stop and notice. It's a pretty it's a pretty normal thing to see. That same field and you see a purple cow in it, you're going to stop and notice. So again, going back to putting your own spin on things, really making sure that you're having something that sticks out, having that really, really kind of moment where someone's scrolling through their newsfeed and they feel compelled to say, wait a minute, and stop moving or stop scrolling on their trackpad can really be super beneficial. Emotions are huge on social media. You want to think of things that aren't only your common emotions of like, oh, that's so inspirational, cute, but things that can be controversial do really well. Things that can be either happy or sad or angry can do really well. It can spark a conversation as well as getting people to connect in a real way. Marketing on social media is really emotional in that it's not going to be something that's going to logically present what your product is and people will buy it. It's more of a way of saying, you know, hey, it's going to take us some time to get to know each other. Let's really build this bond. And then let's see if this product is right for you. Again, just creating that kind of informal bond with your followers can do way more than just telling them what you want from them. Last is the decay factor. So this goes back to the commenting as well. As we all know that only about 10% of your followers do ever see anything you post on social media. So the more and more that it's going to, the more likely that we're able to recycle this great evergreen content, the better. The first time that it's posted is, again, making sure you're commenting on it. If someone leaves you a comment, make sure you're replying. One of the greatest tricks, I think, is in that reply, ask them a question, and that gets them to then respond back. And if you're going to assign like a point value to your different posts, some things that I really like to think about is a like can be assigned 1 point, a comment can be assigned 10 points, and a share can be assigned 15 points. To really build a community of followers who like to talk about your business. And these likes and comments are really fantastic, but thinking about doing things like asking people to actually share it, doing things like that can really increase engagement on these posts and make sure that it's not just getting lost in the noise of the Facebook or Twitter feeds. With all of this, make sure that you're never ever just kind of posting things for posting's sake. Make sure you're not writing things that are really fluffy. Make sure that they really are offering, again, something huge for your followers to be able to latch onto and remember. And when you're doing this too, our main goal for every post that you're putting out there is something that we call increasing your know, like, and trust factor on social media. So when you're filtering this through and when you're thinking about how you're going to get people to like and comment and share on your posts, also bringing into that, how is this going to let people know my brand better? How is this going to make them like me better? And last of all, how is it going to get them to trust me in a way that I can then feel comfortable asking them to provide me with their email address to get them to that landing page and to convert into a customer? Facebook, again, is very, very word of mouth. It's very kind of, if you're friends with someone and they follow a page, it's more likely that lookalike audiences, stuff like that, that marketers are going to use are going to end up in your feed as well. So again, just thinking about researching some of the people who follow your page, going to their actual profiles and really starting to get to know who they are so you can really think about the tone that they want to hear your posts in and start creating things that, again, people want to share out to their own friends. You're on social media and you're actually writing the status update of these posts, you want to think about that it's a person connecting to a person. So you really want to talk about your business as a person rather than talking about your business as a business. If someone wants to share this post onto their page, that's great. You want to create that tribe of people who's going to go ahead and start to market for you. Opening up their network for all of these great posts that you have, again, is a really ultimately one of the best things about social media. So when you're starting to write the status update part to go ahead and show off all of your great evergreen content, just start thinking, what would this say about someone if they shared it on their page? And that's why doing things like standalone content with really inspirational, funny quotes, great memes, pictures, stuff like that is really powerful as well. To do with your brand, it might not have anything that's going to direct someone to your blog or to your website or anything like that. What it is going to do is it's going to compel someone to click that share button, ends up on their wall, and really, again, opens up that network to a whole new realm of people. Favorite things to think about here too is the analogy that you really want to think about, again, connecting with people personally. It's like if you're at a dinner party, let's say, you want to make sure that you're not that person who's seated next to a doctor and you just start to ask them all of your medical questions. That doctor is there to have fun. They're not there to do their work and answer any medical questions. So same thing on social media. People are there to connect with their friends and family. They're there to kind of escape their day, whether it's in the morning, lunch, at night. So if your posts are coming up and they're not matching the tone of their friends and family posts that they're scrolling through trying to find, it's less likely that they're actually going to give your brand sort of that time of day that you're looking for. Of really quick conversational posts that people can consume in a way that matches how you would consume them if you were just kind of looking to connect with your friends and family on social media. You really want to make the destination worth the trip. So once someone sees that post and clicks on that link to be directed to your blog, making sure, again, that the spacing in your blog with that evergreen content is done well. Large chunks of white might look funny to you, but again, leaving spacing there is going to really allow people to kind of scan, read through all that great content that you took the time. Add in photos to your blog posts, add in GIFs, add in these funny things, make someone smile. Again, just really making their destination when they click on that link worth it will then allow them to think every time they see something from you, oh, great, I want to click on this. Oh, great, you know what? I know they offer up really high quality content. I can click on this again and again. We actually do here at Edgar with our great evergreen content when we're developing it is when we write a blog post, we have about 20 headlines that we brainstorm. And this does a lot of things. It not only allows us to find the best headline to describe the piece, but it also gives you a ton of different snapshots of what to put in the status update box. Types of words, what type of verbiage is going to catch someone and really make sure that they're able to connect with it. So when you're presenting a blog post over and over again on social media, don't be shy to change up the like, hey, check out this blog post section to something a little more catching. Headlines that you brainstormed for that one blog post can be used in the status update box, directing someone to that blog. Again, who knows what is going to actually catch someone's eye. So keep that experimental mindset and really make sure you're trying a few different things out as you go along. Next, we're going to go over a little bit about upcycling. So what upcycling really is something that this webinar is actually based on. It's taking content that you already have and making sure you're getting the most out of it. Edgar account, and you're seeing those 6 predefined categories for you, and you might think, oh my gosh, I don't have enough content to fill all of these up. Rest assured you do. So what upcycling is it's taking tips from your posts, it's taking photos from your posts, any content that you already have, and repurposing it. You can post a blog post, you can pull out snippets from that blog post to post as individual standalone content. You can add them to a really great background in Canva and really make it kind of poppy with an image. You can make a short YouTube video reading parts of your blog post and sending that out. Is to get the most mileage out of that evergreen content is going to be something that you can start to think about in order to get more and more posts going out pretty regularly. And again, a lot of people are going to start thinking, oh gosh, I don't want to post the same thing over and over again. And that's why the category-based system of posting on Edgar is so strong, just because you get to pick and choose what types of posts go out during the day and get a nice, robust variety of posts in order to, again, connect with your members in an organic way and really make sure they're realizing, oh, wow, they care about me. They want to provide all of this great content. And really, the work comes from you writing that first evergreen post. And that one blog post, you can then get maybe 5 or 6 status updates out of, and really making sure you're staying on that consistent schedule so your followers know you're always going to be providing for them. Cool. So ending up here, so if you want to go ahead and think about all of these different types of strategies as you're starting to load up your Edgar library, some motivation that I always like to throw out there is you can start slow. It doesn't have to be that you have to get every single piece of content you've ever written into your library right away. Do something like send 6 updates a day out. So every day of the week, you want to send 6 updates a day. So that's sending 120 updates a month. That might sound like a really big number. But with these 6 predetermined categories that you already have in Edgar, you can, of course, rename them to match your brand, whatever makes sense for you. That's only having to add in 20 new updates per category per month in order to have a whole fresh month's worth of content. You break it down, set that time block aside, kind of making sure that you're thinking about all of this content in a really simple way. Again, just six categories in Edgar, adding 20 updates to each of them a month will give you that fresh 120 updates every month. Don't have time to go ahead and block that time out and put in your fresh content? No worries. With Edgar's rotating queue, you're never going to run out of updates. He's always going to be able to resurface this. And if you're doing all these great tips and writing your blog posts in a way that's going to keep them evergreen, it's going to be a really, really great thing for you to be able to kind of step back and say, okay, great. This week I have to focus on something else. I can't load up any new posts into my library. No worries. Edgar's rotating queue is just going to resurface all of these great evergreen posts that I already have. Cool. So that is it for our little mini series on evergreen posting. We certainly want to start to do a few more of these. So let us know by emailing support@meetedgar.com if you do have any feedback, as well as other topics that you'd like to hear from in the future. And we'll go ahead and jump into that chat box. So let me know if you do have any questions. And again, thanks so much for your time today.